Y'all, what's up, guys? Monday afternoon, 12 noon. Did a little door dashing this morning, taking a break, get me a quick bite to eat. But I want to talk to you guys about money. We've kind of strayed away from that because of a lot of the stuff that's going on. But man, I got a story, man. You know, when I DoorDash, I go to all different kind of places, you know, and I live in a decent neighborhood. Not at the top of the neighborhood, mind you. I don't live at the top of the mountain, but I live in a decent neighborhood, somewhere towards the bottom, middle of that neighborhood or that said community. And I come across some neighborhoods, guys, inside this little community that just, my Lord, some of the houses that I've seen, man, fit 5 or 6 my houses in one of these houses. Seriously, 10 of them sometime, 10 of my houses. I made a DoorDash the other day, and very affluent neighborhood, gated community. You know, I don't know exactly who lives there, but I know some celebrities live there. No question about that. Very, very high net worth people. And I was making a delivery, and the person came outside. Oh, he was waiting on me outside, and we got to talking. We were joking around and stuff. He's like, "How long you been doing this, man?" I said, "I've been doing it for a little bit, you know." He says, "What's your background?" Because we were joking and laughing, and I guess he wanted to get to know me better. And as we were talking, he started opening up to me. Next thing you know, I turn off my DoorDash, and I'm there for an hour and a half. Because let me tell you something. When you talk to somebody with that high of a net worth and is willing to talk to you, hey, I'm willing to listen, right? And I did, and trust me, I did most of the listening. But he was asking me a lot of questions, though, believe it or not. And we were talking about, you know, the money situation in America and the dollar and all that. And he understood all that stuff, man. He was a lot of times, you believe it or not, these high net worth people, they don't really know money. They just are good at something and they make a lot of money doing what they do, but they don't really understand it. This guy had an understanding. And so he asked me straight up, he goes, "What, you know, if you don't mind me asking," he said, he goes, "What's your portfolio?" I go, "You really want to know?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You don't got to tell me your net worth." I said, "No, I know." And I gave him the breakdown. You know, I told him Bitcoin, I got some cash, a lot of vintage silver, platinum. He goes, "You got gold?" I go, "No." He goes, "You don't have any gold?" And then I broke it down to him why for like 10 minutes. He was like, "Wow." He's like, that's a very, he's like, "You know what you're talking about." I go, "Well, I don't know about that, but you know." He goes, "Well, I don't know if I should tell you what I got because you know where I live." I said, "Well." And then I told him I had a YouTube channel. I talk about this stuff. He goes, "Oh, okay, that's cool. I'll check you out." So if you're listening, welcome to the channel. And so, of course, I'm not going to say your name. And he was telling me his portfolio, right? And he goes, "Yeah, I got a little bit of Bitcoin, man. You know, I've traded it, this, that, and the third, but I've been really sitting down with it." And I just sat back and listened. And he's like, "Man," and he started telling me all, he's like, "I didn't know this about it and that about it." And the more I'm learning about it, he's like, "I'm in the wrong business." He says, I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I'm in the business of cash. I always love cash." He goes, "But now that I'm, you know the monetary system and stuff like that," he's like, "Man, Bitcoin seems like it's something else, man. It's not like these other cryptocurrencies either." I go, "Yeah." And then I kind of filled him in on it. Now, mind you, this guy net worth is, you know, this guy can buy and sell me in an hour. And that's how much higher level he is than me. But he was listening to me when I was telling him about Bitcoin because I guess my education was farther than his. And then after we got done talking, I said, "Look, man, you know, I'm gonna let you go." He's like, you know, he kept wanting to talk. And finally he goes, "Man," he goes, "you taught me something today." I go, "Well, you taught me something today too, sir." We had a mutual respect for each other. And, you know, he obviously knew he had way more money than me, but he appreciated my limited knowledge of Bitcoins. I told him how long I've been in it. He actually bought Bitcoin before I did, but he bought it like a trade, sold it or whatever. But then when I really started breaking stuff down to him about Bitcoin, he had kind of like the outline of it, and he had a decent understanding, but I feel like I orange pilled him, meaning he'll never sell his Bitcoin again. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. the US dollar is strong relative to the other currencies around the world, because it's going to appear that way over the next few months and years. Because everybody thinks, oh, the dollar is going to collapse. Of course, it's going to go to zero one day. It may not be in our lifetime, but it's definitely going to happen. It's just math. All fiat currencies go to zero. But in the meantime, all the other currencies around the world are going to collapse into the dollar. Meaning, when those countries collapse and their dollar or their fiat currency, you know, goes to zero or goes to hyperinflation, then goes to zero, then what's going to happen is they're going to start using the strongest dollar in the world, and that's the US dollar. And the US dollar is going to appear when you look at it on the charts and stuff, because that's going to affect, because all the stuff that we buy are global assets, right? We buy Bitcoin, silver, gold, platinum. All that stuff is measured on a global scale. It's not just in America. It's going to cause the prices for some of these things to stay down, and you know, the manipulation with gold and silver and stuff like that. But while the dollar is looking strong on the outside of the borders, it's getting weaker and weaker on the inside of the borders. So don't fall for the trap of our dollar's looking strong, this, that, and third. Keep buying hard money, ladies and gentlemen. Gold, silver, platinum, Bitcoin. Buy that stuff, you know what I mean? Because in comparison to the US dollar, again, I know the US dollar is going to be strong, relatively speaking, to the other fiat currencies, because it's much, much more stronger than them. You kind of got to look at Bitcoin in that way too, when it comes to hard money and the US dollar, because no country in the world, I don't care, because if you have Bitcoin, you want to keep it, right? Now I'm specifically talking about Bitcoin for a second, because obviously that's my favorite and I'm biased to that, but I do have a lot of silver. You got to look at Bitcoin as a non-tradable asset, okay? Now let me say this, let me pause it real quick. If you're into the cryptocurrencies, now Bitcoin to me is not a cryptocurrency. It's technically one, but not to me. It's Bitcoin and everything else. Bitcoin has over 50%. I think it's like 54% at the time of this video of total cryptocurrency market share. In other words, if there was $100 into the cryptocurrency space, 54, 53, 55 of it is all to Bitcoin, right? So what's going to happen is these cryptocurrencies are going to go up, because people don't understand the difference between Bitcoin and crypto, right? I'm a capitalist. I'm an American, and I'm all about capitalism. So if you want to gamble on some of these things, because some of them are going to work, some of the cryptocurrencies are going to work, but what problem are they going to solve? They don't solve the same problem as Bitcoin, and Bitcoin solves the problem of the fiat currency and the monetary and the fiscal system is broken, and Bitcoin fixes that. The cryptocurrencies are like little fish or little algae on a big gigantic whale, and as the whale goes up, these cryptocurrencies are going to follow Bitcoin. And a lot of people, because they don't understand the difference between Bitcoin and crypto, they're just going to have, you know, an exchange of Coinbase or whatever, and they're going to buy, you know, $300 of Bitcoin and 50 bucks of Ethereum, and, you know, because they just want to be diversified and they think, oh, Bitcoin is the best, but they're all the same. They're not. So I'm not telling anybody not to diversify, but I'm telling you to really understand the difference and learn Bitcoin and never ever trade it. It's almost to the effect of, if somebody in Turkey, because Turkish money is going down, trading there, if they, you know, made a trade and made a bunch of Turkish money, or, you know, they had, no, say they made some money in US dollars and then trade it back for Turkey dollars. They wouldn't do that, because fiat currency of the United States of America, the world reserve currency, is the strongest currency. So why would you trade in the strong currency for the weak currency? That's why I'll never trade in Bitcoin for the US dollar. I just won't. I'm always going to trade the worst one, the US dollar, the one that's dying inside these borders, for Bitcoin, the hardest money in the world. So guys, just know the difference. Keep buying hard money. I'm not telling you what to buy or how much to buy, or everybody's portfolio is different. But again, the Bitcoin halving is coming up next year. If you don't know what that is, look it up, the Bitcoin halving. The ETF approval is going to be from today until about January 18th, I think, or the 10th or something like that. That will be approved. And the Fed, they may raise rates this week, but trust me, by next year, not only will they pause, but I think they're gonna pull back on the rates. And what do you think is gonna happen to the dollar then? Inflation is gonna be out of control. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know what your portfolio is if you want to, and if you want to share it, and let me know how your day going, all right? I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.